Hello guys, and again welcome to our little homestead. So what's going on today? Well, you probably can tell by the thumbnail what I'm going to be doing here, but a good friend of mine here in South Carolina at our homestead raises domestic rabbits. He's got a couple hundred of what they call New Zealand and California. So what do I have here? I got a California domestic meat rabbit. Now for you guys out there who don't know the difference between a domestic and actually the wild ones out there, these meat rabbits, they're processed right away and they're bled right away, unlike something you would catch out in the wild, where you would shoot a rabbit, bring it back, process, the meat be in it, and they live off of what they can forage. It's a much gamier taste. So this eliminates that game taste by the way they process them and what they feed them. And I am going to go ahead and butcher this up. I won't bore you with the details. There's plenty of YouTube videos out there showing how they're butchered. I'm kind of a novice at this, so I want to take my time, but I want to show you exactly what we're going to do with this rabbit, and let me show you here. Let me get a close-up. So like I said, this is a California meat rabbit, domestic rabbit. I'll place a picture up there, show you what one looks like. And they weigh anywhere, prior to be processed, anywhere from 7 to 10 pounds. Once they are processed, this rabbit I have right here weighs approximately 5 pounds. And once I get done butchering it, I will weigh out the pieces, and I probably have little over in excess of 3 pounds of meat on here. But let me show you how I am going to butcher this. Now, the front legs, the rear legs, and then there's what you call the rabbit backstrap. Let me show you how I would get at that. First of all, on the front legs, and make sure you have a good sturdy sharp knife, there is no socket or ball joint or anything in that. So what you would do is you would cut along that front leg on both sides, and you would remove them and get a nice leg portion of that meat. And then you would go back to the rear legs. Now these are different. These do have a socket joint bone in there. So you would take and cut along that edge of that, turn it over, do it on the inside the same way, and then kind of break it off and then cut through it. So what you'll have is two really nice rear hind legs also. Then you would come, if you notice in the middle there's this flap. Now I'm going to be cutting that totally off on both sides in order to get at this meat that's in the back here. This is called, I guess, the rabbit backstrap. And how I would do that first is up here in this section is the rib cage. So I would take and find the last rib, and I would cut along that rib cage on both sides, and I would break that off. So basically you would have this section here so far. And then in the rear here, there's kind of a tailbone. So you would cut along that also on both sides, and then you would break off that tailbone. So what you're left with is this backstrap without these flaps on it. And what you can do is just leave that and cook that alone. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut that in half so I have two pieces. So what I'll have when I'm finished processing, or not processing, but butchering this rabbit, I will have 6 nice pieces of meat here. Now the rib cage, the rear end, and this flap, you can take and boil it down into a stock if you like, and you save that for future whatever you use it for. We may or may not do that. I'm not sure at this point. But on this backstrap also, when you cook this, and when you do cook rabbit, we're going to cook it in a crock pot. And the reason we're going to do it in a crock pot is, hold on, let me change this camera around again. Alright, so I'm back. So like I was saying, we are going to cook this in a crock pot. And the reason is, rabbit is a very, very lean meat. And there's always the danger of overcooking it. And if you overcook rabbit, chances are it's going to be dried out and it'll be tough. So by cooking in a crock pot, you can eliminate that. You just want to make sure the internal temperature is around 160 degrees Fahrenheit, or I think it's like 72 degrees Celsius. And you want to maintain that temperature in order for it to be safe to eat. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get this butchered. I will get it all cut up and I'll come back and I'll show you how I did this. So let me bring this back inside and take my time. Like I said, I'm a novice at this. So I want to make sure that I do it right and get all the potential meat I can out of it. So again, this is a California domestic meat rabbit. And here I am, South Carolina. Boy, my life has changed here. I'm starting to eat through this. And by the way, next month we will be living here now for almost 1 year. So, hey, time flies. Anyway, let me get back to you. Guys, that was fairly easy. I'll tell you, as long as you maintain your knife along the bones and all that, you can get this done quickly. So what I got here is I've got 6 beautiful pieces. These are the 2 hind legs right here. These are the 2 front legs right there, and this is the back strap, which I said I was going to cut in half, but look at the meat on that, and that's probably your prime. But keep in mind, this back strap here has very fine bones in it, so be careful when eating it. There's small bones in that. The rest of this is pretty much, you know, you just eat it the way you want it. So you can cook this numerous ways. Like I said, we're going to do the crock pot in this because we want to eliminate overcooking and drying it out. You know, that's it. I weighed this out, and out of that 5 pound, after I took the rib and the tailbone and that flap off, I've got a little better than 3.5 pounds of meat here, of rabbit meat. So I'm looking forward to this. We'll see how it tastes. I'll get back to you later when we have it all ready to prepare and going to have dinner. So that's it, guys. Let me let me straighten this camera out. So anyway, that's my rabbit. Like I said, things are changing here in the homestead. Anyway, in 3 days, we are going to do a van trip. We're going to a beautiful lake, and we're going to spend a couple days at this lake in the van. For you guys out there who don't know, I have a Ram Pro Master self-converted camper van. So I'll get into that later, but that's going to be a few-day trip we're going to be doing and going to a beautiful lake and just chill out. So anyway, guys, there is my rabbit. And I'll show you later what dinner looks like. Take care. Bye-bye, and thanks for following Walker's World.
You cook good rabbit, Pilgrim.